I always put my hair on this side, and I don't entirely know why. So let's go this way. Let's go this way this time. Is it any different? Not really. I don't know why I always go that way. We're going over here today, changing it up.
3, 2, 1, bro.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nick Murphy. I'm one half of the Brothers Murph, and this is Metagame Minute. Metagame Minute is a weekly segment where Mike or I talk about anything we want to talk about in the gaming world today. Today we want to talk about we were talking about this in our stream last week, and it was about whether or not is too strong of a word, because they're your games. Do whatever the hell you want with them and buy whatever games you want. Do whatever makes you happy. And that's kind of, in the end, what this one's about. Just do whatever makes you happy. But we were talking about polyomino tile games and how there are so many polyomino tile games now. There's Barren Park. We were talking about like Spring Meadow and Cottage Garden and Indian Summer and just like Isle of Cats and My City and all. There's so many polyomino tile games. It's been one of the most prominent mechanics in the last number of years. A couple of games like Barren Park kind of brought polyomino tiles kind of to the forefront, being like, oh, this is a really cool mechanic. And then it's just exploded and never really stopped. There are a ton of games of polyomino tiles and a lot of games that's the whole game. And then a lot of games where it's like, that's just part of the game, like Feast for Odin or something like Kingdom Rush is the same way, where it's just like, that's kind of part of the game. And I really, really love polyomino tile games, and so does Mike. And so the question that we were all discussing was, do you need Barren Park, Spring Meadow, Indian Summer, Patchwork, all those ones, Isle of Cats? Do you need all these different polyomino tile games when essentially they have the same mechanic? Do you need all of those games? Because they're all different games, but in the end, they're all kind of the same because they're polyomino tile games. And it kind of started this discussion about like, how do you generally prefer to like build your collection? Do you like to have a sampling of everything? Like, this is my polyomino tile game. This is my, I'm gonna have to jump cut because I'm running out of room on this card for some reason. So jump cut, we're back. So basically what I was saying, should you have all of one type of game? One polyomino tile game, one worker placement game, one deck builder, one, trader game, one trick-taking game. Oh, do you want like one of each? Like, this represents this kind of genre and like that? Or do you want like, no, I really like polyomino tile games, I want 10 of them. And I think both, by the way, are completely fine. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer in any of this. Like I said, in the end, it's your collection. If you want to have 10 of the same type of game, then do that. It's your collection. I think that's a beautiful thing about this whole thing, is you can just make whatever collection you want. It's yours. But basically, how do you prefer to do it? I think a lot of this kind of comes down to also size of collection. If you only have space for 10, 20 games, you probably are going to want a pretty wide swath of types of games, considering you can only have probably one or two of each of the main mechanics in board games. There's lots of mechanics in board games. There's some that are more prominent and show up more often than others. If you have a very big collection, you can afford to have a whole bunch of, so I understand that, like, I'm aware of that, like, a lot of this comes down to the size of your collection. But nonetheless, if with your collection of what you have, how do you like to have it? I personally like to have a lot of games that I just like. And if they all happen to be polyomino tile games, sure, that doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't bug me, or I don't think of it as like a waste to have more than one type of a similar game. There are a lot of games we have that are like honestly really, really similar to another game. And sometimes we end up culling a different game because we're like, you know what, we have this game, they're pretty similar. I always choose this one, so this one's gonna go away. We've done big cull videos, and that's one of the main reasons why I've gotten rid of games, because they are similar. So that does definitely happen to us, but we, for talking about polyomino tile games, have a whole bunch of them, and I'm okay with it. And I don't really feel the need to like go, oh, you know what, do we have too many of this? Should we really start branching out? So it's just something that I'm kind of on in both camps, where I think both are good. So let me know, with your collection, how have you done it? Do you really care about really trying to hit all the different genres in terms of mechanics, or even in terms of like themes as well? Or in terms of like light, heavy, I think people generally have a pretty big wide range, because that's just, I think, personally better to have your collection that way. or do you like to have, you're like, you know what, I know I like these kinds of games, so I have a ton of these kinds of games. Let me know down in the comments below, because I'm endlessly fascinated by people's board game collections, because I think they're interesting to be like, oh, this is your board game collection. Wow, you really like this kind of specific game. That's super cool. Oh, you over here, you like all this different kind of stuff. That's super cool. I find, again, board game collections to be very, very, very interesting. And so tell me about yours and which of these do you like to do? And until next time, whichever one of these camps you live in, or if you live kind of in both like we do, and honestly, probably like most of us do, remember, the more meta, the more beta. That jump cut in the middle of that video was weird. Here's another one. Wasn't that weird? It was. Make sure to check out that video right there. That video is going to be Mike's last metagame minute. And down there's going to be a video that YouTube thinks you're going to like. Who knows? Maybe they're right. They probably are. They have all of our retinas already. Probably. I don't know. Make sure to like this video and share it around and subscribe while you're here. And that's it. Bye, everybody.